everyone. I cannot see your face. So if can switch on the camera will be a lot better. I will highly encourage you to do so, so that I didn't see human for a few days already. All right. Right, cool. So thank you for joining today. First of all, really thank you so much. Probably everyone wonder why Ashlynn session John Kuek is here. Okay, just want to let you know Ashlynn still Ashlynn. Ashlynn didn't become John Kuek. So today's sessions is we're gonna talk about self-mastery, and I thought I'm quite passionate about this session, and thought I want to do this together with Ashlynn and share the value to all of you here. So Ashlynn, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, thanks for being here with me, John Kuek. That's so nice of you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'm gonna share slide to you, and then the whole session we're gonna talk about self-mastery and why is it important. Talk a little bit about mindset and a little bit about sharing about self-mastery, and then we will have an aha session and let's exchange our aha. So let me share screen today. Okay, I trust everyone can see. So the topic today is 6 personal perspective, the foundation of the perspective to achieve highest level of achievement. Now, before I talk about self-mastery, there's a video that I want to show you, and I thought this video is really powerful. And if can, maybe you can share your aha from this video. It's about 3 minutes, and let's sit there and enjoy the video. Sorry, let me share computer sound. Wait a minute. Computer sound, okay.
So imagine a big explosion as you climb through 3,000 feet. Imagine a plane full of smoke. Imagine an engine going clack, 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 clack. Sounds scary. Well, I had a unique seat that day. I was sitting in 1D. I was the only one who could talk to the flight attendants. So I looked at them right away, and they said, no problem. We probably hit some birds. The pilot had already turned the plane around, and we weren't that far. You could see Manhattan. 2 minutes later, 3 things happened at the same time. The pilot lines up the plane with the Hudson River. It's usually not the route. He turns off the engines. Now imagine being on a plane with no sound. And then he says 3 words, as unemotional 3 words as I've ever heard. He says, brace for impact. I didn't have to talk to the flight attendant anymore. I could see in her eyes, it was terror. Life was over. And I want to share with you 3 things I learned about myself that day. I learned that it all changes in an instant. We have this bucket list, we have these things we want to do in life, and I thought about all the people I wanted to reach out that I didn't, all the fences I wanted to mend, all the experiences I wanted to have and I never did. As I thought about that, later on I came up with a saying, which is, I collect bad wines. Because if the wine is ready and the person is there, I'm opening it. I no longer want to postpone anything in life. And that urgency, that purpose has really changed my life. The second thing I learned that day, and this is as we clear the George Washington Bridge, which was by not a lot, I thought about, wow, I really feel one real regret. I've lived a good life. In my own humanity and mistakes, I've tried to get better at everything I tried. But in my humanity, I also allow my ego to get in. And I regretted the time I wasted in things that did not matter with people that matter. And I thought about my relationship with my wife, with my friends, with people. And after, as I reflected on that, I decided to eliminate negative energy from my life. It's not perfect, it's a lot better. I've not had a fight with my wife in 2 years, it feels great. I'm no longer trying to be right, I choose to be happy. The third thing I learned, and this is as your mental clock starts going 15, 14, 13, you can see the water coming. I'm saying, please blow up, right? I don't want this thing to break in 20 pieces like you've seen in those documentaries. And as we're coming down, I had a sense of, wow, dying is not scary. It's almost like we've been preparing for it our whole lives. But it was very sad. I didn't want to go. I love my life. And that sadness really framed in one thought, which is, I only wish for one thing. I only wish I could see my kids grow up. About a month later, I was in a performance by my daughter, first grader, not much artistic talent yet. And I'm bawling, I'm crying like a little kid. And it made all the sense in the world to me. I realized at that point, by connecting those two dots, that the only thing that matters in my life is being a great dad. Above all, the only goal I have in life is to be a good dad. I was given the gift of a miracle, of not dying that day. I was given another gift, which was to be able to see into the future and come back and live differently. I challenge you guys that are flying today. Imagine the same thing happens on your plane, and please don't. But imagine, and how would you change? What would you get done that you're waiting to get done because you think you'll be here forever? How would you change your relationships and the negative energy in them? And more than anything, are you being the best parent you can? Thank you.
All right, guys. So what is your aha from that video? Type below and let me know what is the aha that you get from that video. Comment below and let's share the aha. So while waiting for the aha, I also would like to have a conversation with Ashlynn and want to hear from her about what is a aha from this video. Now I've got some of the aha from the chat box and let me rate. Now Hannah say, don't procrastinate. Treasure every moment, knowing I will not be here forever and I live differently. I love that. You know, Yuning say, don't wait, do it now. Never wait to make that change. Right? Build positive relationship. Awesome, I like that. Our boss say, don't postpone doing things that matter. And then don't wait until it happens. Do not wait anymore, do it now, 100%. COVID is making this feel real here and now. Be prepared. Make our life count. I really love that. I really love all your aha. Ashlynn, are you there?
Yeah. Wow, they have so many things to share. Very engaging session. I like it. Okay, so basically what I caught from this video is that so this guy, he actually recognized the areas that he falls short of. Like he was mentioning about the time that he has wasted and then how regret he was. So after that, he actually made a decision and tell himself that, okay, I want to be a better version of myself. Right? So he aspired to become a greater version of himself. So that's what I pick up from that video.
All right, fantastic. Now, one of the things is that one of the biggest aha that I have is that you must have urgency in life. And what is my takeaway is that in your business, you must have a urgency and treat your business like an ICU. Now, can you imagine that today, you are the patient in the ICU hospital and the doctor take their sweet time to try to save your life? Can you imagine that? So one of the biggest aha that I got is that the urgency is important in life. The urgency is important in life. Now, I would also like to share about this. Ashlynn, let me ask you this question. Now, if an agent or as a business owner or when we live our life and there is no urgency, what will happen?
Things will fall apart for sure, right? Because in this business, we know that, let's say, for example, if there's no urgency, for example, a very real example would be like we are doing our lead generation, setting appointment for let's say I'm doing project, right? So I know that doing project, there's of course, developer, they are engaging a lot of agencies and there are lots of agents doing that project. So the client who register your project would also register other people project or other people Facebook, right? So let's say if you receive that leads and you take your own sweet time to call and to follow up. So the chances of other agents reaching out to that same prospect, right, is very, very high. Yeah.
Right, interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Now let's move on to the next slide, and would like to share this. Now, I would like to ask this question to everyone and want you to think about this as we are running this business. Now, what is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? I want you to take a moment and think about this. Why some people can achieve or perform their business at the highest level and I am still struggling? Now, Ashlynn, would you like to share a little bit about this?
Okay, so basically the question is what set apart top achievers from the rest, right? Okay, so what I see is that this group of people, right, usually they are, let's say if they say they want to do certain thing or they want to master a certain skill, right, usually they are very committed and they will show up. So there's always just like what you mentioned just now, there's always a sense of urgency in them. They don't just sit down and wait for things to happen. They actually do something about it. So they really treat their business like an ICU, right? They don't wait. They really show up and follow through with their commitment. Yeah.
I see. Now, also based on my observation in this real estate journey for about 7 to 8 years with Brickfield, I have people join me and I've seen people left me also. Okay. And based on my observation, I realized a few things why some people fail in real estate. Number one, they procrastinate. Just now I saw a comment there. Some people procrastinate. They want to do, but they don't take action. Or for the things that you want to do now, for example, you promise yourself that you're gonna filter the database, you're gonna revisit your database, you're gonna give care call to your client, you're gonna get in touch with your client. You say you want to do that, but then you say, I will leave it tomorrow. And this is the biggest problem that all of us here, because we thought we have enough time and we want to push everything, we can do it tomorrow, we have plenty of time to do it. So procrastination is the biggest problem that based on my observation that I've seen why some of the real estate agents fail in their business. Number two is that you and I probably give up too early before we see our result. You and I probably give up too early because the things that I don't do, the things that we are doing right now, we don't see the result. And that's why we give up so early. I remember I joined one of the Gary Keller sessions and somebody complained about, I've tried command, I've used this command, I've run one ad, but I don't see the result. And as Gary Keller trying to coach that agent, then Gary Keller say, how many new ways you have tried? Have you tried one way? Have you tried 5 new ways? Have you tried 10 new ways? Have you tried 20 new ways? Now, if you only try one way and complain about that, and then Gary Keller say, go away. Because you are wasting time trying to argue with your limitation and making all of us like a fool trying to listen to you. Then I realized we don't give up so early. Even the things that we are doing right now, we don't see result. Continue to find new ways to do it. So one of the observations that I've seen why people fail in real estate is because they give up too early. They only try one area, but there are multiple ways for you to be successful. Don't just become one. Now, if sub-sale is difficult for you and you realize sub-sale, you're not so good at that, then move to project. If project is not good for you, then move to sub-sale. Now, if residential condo is not good for you, then move to commercial, move to industrial. There are many ways that you can be successful in real estate. So number 2, don't give up so early. Number 3, based on my observation that I've seen why real estate agents fail is because they are lazy. Laziness is the biggest problem. And they will always complain, my motivation is very low. Let me check how many of you here feel lazy today.
Actually, John Kuek, I concur with what you said, because over the last few years in my real estate journey as well, we see people coming in and out. So you still remember every single time beginning of the year when we set our 135, right? We are all very excited. So he said that, okay, this is how much we want to achieve. So every day I got to make how many calls. So every week I got to have how many appointments. But how many people really follow through with their commitment, right? So some people, they lose their momentum after 1 month. Some people after 2 months. Some people drop out after 3 months. So along the journey, I would say the journey to, to the top, right, is really very lonely sometimes, because not many people would choose to walk that path until the very end, because we got to understand that in this real estate, there are a few skills that we need to master. And for example, lead generation, follow up, setting appointment, negotiating a contract, doing our presentation. So all these skills, right, it actually requires time. So we really have to invest time on each of these activities. So it's actually a repetition. It's a things that we do over and over. It's a very consistent thing. It's not that you like it, then you do, you don't like it, then you don't do. Yeah, and what we see in many people who eventually dropped out from the business is that most of them, they tend to give up halfway. Yeah, because along the journey, there are some distraction as well. Yeah.
100%. So please check yourself 4 things. If today you feel that that there is a procrastination in you, that you want to give up because you don't see the result, and there's a little bit laziness and you lack of motivation, these are the symptoms that will kill you. Like Christopher Wong say, laziness is a slow disease that kills little by little. And if you are having this symptom, please see a doctor. So who is the doctor? Jonathan Lee is the doctor, John Lee is the doctor. So please see a doctor and see what you can do. Now I want to highlight a little bit about motivation. Sometimes don't focus on motivation, because motivation can only uplift you but cannot change you. And motivation is short term. So don't over focus on the motivation, the energy that you want to get. Because you can get charged up for a short period of time, but you still don't change. You still will get yourself you still will be procrastinated, you still will give up very easily. So motivation can only uplift you, but cannot change you. Now, based on the observation, based on the 6 PP, I realized there are 6 qualities that we want to take. And the 6 quality that in order for you to perform your business at the highest level, and I'm going to share slide and show with all of you. Wait a minute. Oh, I almost clicked leave the room. Sorry. Okay. Now, if you are going through the internal problem that I'm talking about, the laziness, the motivation, right? There are 3 things that we want to focus. Number 1 is the mindset that we make sure that we feed the important information or a good thought or positive thoughts into our mindset. Number 2 is the attitude that you have that you want to make a change. Number 3 is the approach to your life. How do you live your life differently? Now, for example, just now I saw someone that you won't be here forever. That's why you live differently, like what William said earlier. So these are the 3 things that we want to talk about. Now, if you really want to change and be a high achiever in real estate, I think the step 1 that you want to focus is to commit or self-mastery. Now, these are the 6 important quality that I always see in top producer. For example, number 1, commit to self-mastery. What are you going to say is that I'm going to nail it, I'm going to master this. I will highlight this a little bit more later. We'll go into step 1 and go deep into that. Number 2, in your business, you will commit to the 80-20 principle. So meaning to say, you're going to focus on my big rock. Now, let me explain to you. If you are not careful in your business, you will realize that in your business, you have a lot of activities, but there's no productivity or there's no profitability. Meaning to say you are very busy, but you're not making money. So why this will happen is because you're not focusing on the big rock, meaning to say you're not focusing on your priority. So step 2 is important. Now step 3 is from E to P, meaning to say I'm purposeful about breaking through my ceiling of achievement. Number 4 is that I'm willing to be taught and I always pursue learning. No, learning is a lifelong journey. Number 5 is limiting belief. Number 6 is be accountable. And throughout the whole session today, I believe during this lockdown, we will go through all these 6 steps. And today, we want to talk about self-mastery. Now, Ashlynn, I want to ask you this question. What is your definition of self-mastery?
Okay, for me, is that self-mastery is that I make a commitment and tell myself that, okay, I want to be a better version of myself. Okay, because I don't want to settle for the less. So what happened is that next thing I'll find out what is my strength and also my weakness. So recognize what are your strength and also your weakness, and then you work on them because you want to close that gap, right? Yeah, so first thing you identify already. So you make commitment and then you identify your weakness and also your strength. And then most importantly, you have to take action because you don't just talk, you have to walk the talk. Yeah, it's a deliberate action that we do it over and over. It's a very consistent thing. So of course, we have to trust that process as well, because along the journey, right, it's not always going to be very smooth sailing. We are bound to fail, but it's okay. So for example, let's say talk about lead generation. You know that we have to make calls every day. So for example, if let's say after you call, you make 1,000 calls, but if there's still no appointment after 1,000 calls, what happened? There must be something wrong already, right? So we got to sit down and identify what actually went wrong. So let's say if you still cannot make appointment after 1,000 calls, it could be, maybe it's your script problem, right? Or it could be the way you communicate. Maybe something is not right with your tonality and you have to improve that. So it's okay. It's okay if it doesn't work right. You figure out what doesn't work and then you tweak it. So that's actually how we fail forward. And
right.
Yeah, that's...
Cool. Now I want to ask all of you this question, and I will ask Ashlynn also. And if you can answer, please answer. Number 1, when we talk about self-mastery, is to be the better version of ourselves. Correct? When we talk about self-mastery, is that to be the person you want to be. Now, remember, Gary Carroll also said this to all of us, that don't join KW just because what we have. Join KW because who you want to become. And that is important. Now, so when we talk about self-mastery, and I want to ask all of you this question, and at the same time, I'll ask Ashlynn. Number 1, in which area in your real estate business you would like to improve? Another question is that how would you like to further your self-development? That's number 1. Number 2, why do you want to improve in that area? So if you can comment below and let me read through the message, and at the same time, I will have this conversation with Ashlynn. I want to hear how she think about this.
Okay, so for me, I recognize that there's this area that I need to work on, which is communication. So particularly because I'm not very good at engaging in a conversation with people. Yeah, because by nature, I don't really talk a lot one. But then you know me, right? Sorry. Yeah, because by nature, really, I don't really talk a lot. But then, yeah.
One thing that we have to be truthful. So
no, it actually, no, by nature, I'm not like that. So which is why I recognize that this is the area that I need to work on, right? In order for me to stay relevant in this business. So which is why I actually spend time and just to, sharpen my soul in this area lah. Yeah. I'm being truthful, John Kuek, because I recognize what I'm lacking and I actually put the effort and time to do it. Yeah. Okay. So just trust the process. Okay.
So you were saying that one of the areas that you want to improve in your real estate business is communication skill.
Yeah, correct. I'm reading through Amelia and also William's comment. Okay, for me, right? Okay, by nature, I'm an introvert. I don't really talk a lot. But before I talk, right, I would think first. So after I think and then, so after I thought through it and I talk, right, I can really talk. Then you think that I really can talk. But yeah, in fact, I'm not like that lah. Yeah, but over time, it get better, okay? Yeah. So, so your second question was, why do I want to improve? It's because I recognize that we are in a people business. So our business built on relationship, because relationship always come before transaction or before the money. So which is why particularly in this area, I think I'm still not that good at it, still a work in progress. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I just want to summarize what Ashlynn said is that communication skill is important. Now, in order to build good relationship with your client, having good conversation is a skill that you must have. Don't always talk to your client about product, how to close the deal, push them. I think that is not important. I think client will enjoy a good conversation with an agent or with a client. So having good conversation with client is a skill that Ashley want to improve. And she say that the reason why I want to improve is because real estate is a people business, and you want to improve that. Now, the fact that you want to improve this area is because this area at this moment is your weakness. Now, when you continue to do that, when you continue to self-mastery, right, your weakness will eventually become your strength. I hope everyone understands this question. Now, actually, I want you to share a little bit as you're trying to improve your communication skill and try to have a good conversation with your client. What are the challenges that you have when you're trying to do this self-mastery?
For me, I realized that my problem is that I don't know how to start a conversation sometimes. Yeah, and sometimes also I listen, but I don't try to understand. Right? You listen and then you just want to talk, but you don't try to understand. So over the time, I recognize that it's so important to be a good listener. Yeah. And not just with client. I think you gave me this comment where you think you say that when I talk, right, there's no structure. Yeah, so I know, I recognize, so I admit that when I talk, there's no structure because I can jump from one point to another and then to another one and then jump back to the first one. So what happened is that, so every single time before my meeting with John Kuek, right, I'll write down what are the things that I need to talk and then just follow the sequence. Yeah, and don't talk too much. Just say nice enough and just highlight the important thing. Yeah.
I remember a few times having meeting, Kelvin, you, Chris Tang, we all are having a conversation. I think the conversation was so long, and then I lose my structure. So end of the conversation, I only say this. Can everyone summarize what you all say? So that's what we want to know, right? So that's the thing. Now I want to highlight this. Listening. Now we want to listen to understand. Probably you want to write this down. We want to listen to understand, not to listen to answer. We want to listen to understand, not to listen to answer. Don't rush into answering the question. Listen and understand why the client is asking that question. So listening is really important. And if you listen carefully, correctly, your answer can be very purposeful. All right, so this is important. Right, let's move on to the next slide and we will continue to do that. Let me see. Okay. Now, based on what Ashlynn mentioned about self-mastery is to be the better version of ourselves, and I asked all of you this question: in which area you would like to improve? So, as you can read the definition here, self-mastery is a possession of the great knowledge, skill, and habits that you, the master of you. All right. So when you want to commit to achieving self-mastery, 3 questions that you want to ask yourself. Number 1, know your goal. Number 2, know your strengths and weaknesses. Number 3, know how to work with both your strength and weaknesses to reach your goal. That's the self-mastery. And my definition of self-mastery is to really that you are able to envision the person that you want to be in the future, the person that you want to become. So self-mastery is to be the better version of ourselves. All right. So this is the things that we are talking about. Now, before I continue, I would like to show you one more video about committing to self-mastery. Sit back and relax.
G'day, I'm Bruce Hardy, and I'm committing to self-mastery. You know, this is one of the main 6 perspectives that I think we all need to focus on, particularly if we want to take our business and our lives to the highest level. You know, when I was younger and lived in Australia, a good friend of mine was a black belt in karate. He invited me to participate in karate, so I joined. I was a white belt, and after about 6 weeks or so, we were one day practicing sparring. And it was interesting because we were throwing a punch, relatively simple, straightforward punch. We both knew how to do it. The idea was that you would throw the punch and you would stop 2 inches from the other person's face. So my friend, the black belt, would do it, and he would snap, his gi would snap, and I had wind hitting me in the face, and it was just beautiful the way he threw it. Then it was my turn, and I got down and I went whack, and I watched my friend fall to the floor because I hit him instead of stopping 2 inches in front of his face. We both knew how to do it. He'd mastered it, I had not. I will tell you, I brought the same approach to my real estate business. I realized my focus had to be on listings. And what I did was, by focusing on my listing presentation, practicing over and over and over again, I was able to list over 250 homes a year. There's a wonderful saying out there, and that is, amateurs practice to get it right, professionals practice to never get it wrong. My question to you, are you an amateur or are you a professional? Commit to self-mastery.
All right, so when we talk about self-mastery, I realize I want to throw a punch to someone else. It's my first time I throw this. How many of you want to play with me? Hope that there's a 2 inches space. You know, let me throw the punch. Right, so Ashlynn, now, from that video, can you share a little bit about what did you get from that?
Okay, so basically, self-mastery is not about how good you are, but it's how good you want to be, right? So is that not everybody wants to be good, but not many people are willing to or are prepared to take that sacrifices, to make that sacrifices it takes to be great. Yeah.
Right, fantastic. Now, would like to ask this question to all of you, based on the video earlier that you see. What are you focusing on right now that you're trying to commit to self-mastery? Maybe can you comment below and let me know in your business. Now, so just now that guy, I don't know what's the name really. I think Bush. I can't remember. Anyway, so what are the areas that you're trying to commit to self-mastery in your business? Maybe you can comment below and let me know. And at the same time, I would like to ask Ashlynn about this question, that in your business right now, which area right now that you are committing to self-mastery? Just now there's a communication part, right? What about now in your business?
In my business, I think is even though I'm already in this business for I think 4.5 years, coming to 5 years, right? I dare not to say that I'm already very perfect. It's still always a work in progress. So even in lead generation, in following up, so particularly in these 2 areas, there are always room for improvement. I'm still sharpening my skill in this area. Same goes to presentation and closing as well. Yeah.
Right, interesting. So I see Hon say, want to improve my communication skill and presentation skill. And then you need to say discipline and confidence. I think all the skill here is learnable and teachable. Jenny say listening skill. I want to learn about follow-up in a purposeful way. Communication and listening to understand. I think all these skills are learnable, right? Actually, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's the skill that even John Kuek already close to 8 years in this real estate business. It's also hustlers still improving, right? Yeah.
Yep. Still improving. Still improving. Right, let me continue to share slide for us to continue to learn a little bit more about self-mastery. Now, based on the video that we watched just now, I found this quote, and it says, "I fear not the man that can throw 1,000 different cakes once, but the man who can throw one cake 1,000 times." And I really think this quote is really demonstrate self-mastery. Now, I remember when I read this quote, I remember when I do a project marketing, right? And I was trying to master my presentation skill, like what Hon said, I'm trying to master my presentation skill. Well, what I did is that I have a draft paper. I have a draft paper because when you do project, right, you're gonna do presentation at the location. You have to do presentation at the skill model. You have to do presentation at the show unit, and you have to do presentation for your closing, because the power of closing is important. Script is important when it comes to improve your presentation skill. So what happened is that I have a different draft paper. So this draft paper, I will write down all the script about the project, and I will memorize it. And then the other paper, I will write down all the script for location. Then the third paper, I'll write down all the script at show unit. And then the last paper, I'll write all the script for closing. So in different area, I have a different script. And I remember I practiced at least 100 times to master my presentation skill. So what I do is that for my first 5 appointments, right? Because I did not, if I didn't manage to set appointment at the show unit, I will get my friend, my colleague, or anyone come to sales gallery, and I will practice. Even though they don't buy, it's okay, because I just want to practice my presentation skill. So that's how I do self-mastery. Ashlynn, do you have anything you want to add from that?
Yeah, correct. I think that's the same thing that we are doing. And more importantly, I always feel that the beginning is always the hardest, because especially when you first join, right? Wow, caught with so many things have to learn, because especially if you start from zero, you have no background in real estate or in sales related industry, right? So when you know that you have to master lead generation, follow up, how to set appointment, doing presentation and closing, and all these things, it can be very daunting, right? So what we did is that we actually do one step at a time. So from the very beginning, I remember when I first started, is that I don't call myself with too many things, even though I know eventually I have to learn all these skills, right? So I start with, okay, so I start with baby steps. So I just master how to call and setting appointment. That at the very initial, I will have, team members or team helping me to
Are we losing her? Is my line? I think we lose her, right?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay, that's how she ran away from the session. No, just kidding. Okay, never mind. I will continue. I will continue with that. I'll continue with that. I think we just lose her for that. So if you are in sub-sale, right? I believe they are sub-sale, they are projects. So if you are sub-sale, one of the things that you want to practice or you want to master is that at this season of time, you probably want to call a seller to price their property correctly. Correct? To what kind of script that you want to do to price that, what kind of conversation that you want to have with your seller or with your buyer. I think role plays is important. So self-mastery is talking about this, right? So we will continue for the next one while waiting Ashlynn to come in.
I'm back.
Anyway.
I'm back.
Okay, no problem. So yeah. Okay, so we'll continue to the next one. Now, the next 5 slides that I'm going to show you is the quote that Gary Keller say, and some of the speakers say, And I thought this is very important to self-mastery. And I take that and put into my mind and my heart so that I can run my business based on this value. And I hope that you can take this also. And I hope that this will help you to understand a little bit better about self-mastery, right? Let's move. So the first one, commit to self-mastery. It is not about how good you are today.
Are we losing John Kuek or myself?
No, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Game now. Okay, so Ashlynn, how do you feel about this? Would you like to share?
Yeah, so when I look at this statement, right, it's about developing. It's not about how good you are. It's about how good you want to be. Okay, so probably I'll just share one story of mine. So throughout my journey, right, actually I started real estate when I first did project. I think we started with selling the 300,000 property first, right, for a year. So our team, we were doing quite well in that area. So after a year, we actually rise up and tap into a different market, and we sell slightly more expensive project, 500,000. So over there, I was also so as I got myself into that project, right, I got to a point where I enjoy it and I didn't want to leave that project. Yeah, because I think the more we do it, right, the easier it becomes, and eventually setting appointment and even having closing also not it become easier lah. So what happened was that after that decided to rise up again, so tap into a 700,000 ringgit project, then eventually recently moved to a million. So even though like in every market started with 300, 500, 700 was doing quite okay, right? But every single time when there's an opportunity to be better, actually rise up lah. So sometimes I actually torn between like, hey, whether should I, move myself into a different level? Because I remember like joining this, recently we joined this Bangsa Hill Park project, right? So today marked the first month, milestone. Yeah, it's already 1 month here. So I remember that time, John Kuek called me. So he said, what do you think about this one? So are you ready to join? So I actually told John Kuek that, I said, you know what? I actually love the people over here. I think this group of people, they are really amazing. But then my heart is still in another project that I'm doing. But that also because since there's an opportunity to try a different thing, to break through. So I actually took up that challenge. But I told John Kuek, I said, yeah, I tell you already, my heart is still with that project. It's just that when I moved myself from 500,000 property market into a 700,000 property market, right? That transition period actually took some time also because my mind and my heart are not aligned. So I have to make a commitment and then follow through with my commitment. So true enough, so over the time, it just got better lah. And yeah, after a month, I think I'm very connected to that project really. Yeah.
Right, fantastic. Now, this code, what this code is telling me is that the goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better today. Now, be very careful about this. Some people feel that I have learned everything I don't need to learn anymore. I am the best in this industry. So we're going to be very careful with this. So self-mastery is always find ways for improvement. All right, thank you for sharing, Ashlynn. Now, the next one, I also find this is very important. Sorry, not this. Yeah, this. Sorry. This. Now, it's not about what we do once in a while that shapes our life. It's about what we do consistently. I thought this is really powerful, right? Ashlynn, I think you have something to share about this.
Okay, I think this one talk about developing a habit, right? Okay, so when because this is my favorite book, The One Thing. So this one it taught me about to pick up a new habit, we have to do it continuously for 66 days. That's how we commit to self-mastery. It's not what we do once in a while. Let's say if I say I want to make 50 calls every day, then I have to do it every day. Yeah, it's not a once a week or twice a week, or when I feel like I do it, then I'll do it thing. It's a thing that I have to commit to myself. Let's say I want to time block 3 hours a day just to do it. So I'll just do it faithfully. Yeah. So it's a thing that we do it over and over. It's a consistent thing. It's a task over time. That's how we achieve that self-mastery. Yeah. What about you, John Kuek? What do you think?
I think repetition is the best way to form a good habit. Now, for example, you think role play is important in your business, real estate business. You think role play is important, but then you just do that once in a month. Or if we have weekly role play, right, but you only come once a month, or you maybe only come 2 times, then the rest of the time you don't come. For example, you want to make sure that your business have consistent result, and you know that lead generation is important, but then you don't do it consistently. And you want to be a top producer, right? You want to make 200,000 a year, right? But then your lead generation is not consistent. You do lead generation based on the mood that you have, based on the level of your motivation. Then your business will be very, very difficult. Now, I can tell you this. All of us here know how to be successful in real estate. Number 1, lead generation. Number 2, appointment. We know how much effort and time we should intentionally invest in this activity. We know how to do it, but the problem is that we don't do it consistently. So that's why I say this quote is really powerful. It's not about what we do once in a while that shapes our life, or once in a while that makes us to be the top producer. It's about what we do consistently. Repetition, if you want to form a good habit, if you are doing this right, if you're doing this consistently, you are developing a habit that to be successful. All right. So I really think that this is very important, and I hope this is useful for you. If this is important, please write this down and put into your mind and your heart. Okay, as you do this real estate business. Right. Let's move on to the next one. The goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better today. I think it's quite similar to the first one, right? Pretty similar. But what did you get from this?
Okay, for me, I think that there's always room for improvement, like as long as you do it consistently, even one progress every day is still a progress, and eventually it will have compounding effect. So just focus on one step at a time. It's really a repetition, time over task. Yeah, so it's really not to be perfect, but to be better every day.
Yeah, to be better every day. Now, what I get from this is that the goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better today. This will help me to understand the game that we are in today. We are not here to be number 1 in real estate business. We are here to stay in the game, to be relevant in the game. Now, if you want to be the best person in this industry, or you want to be the best person, I would think that best, this word BEST, is a short term. Because you can be the best person today, and tomorrow somebody else will be better than you. So when you try to understand these 2 words, being the best person and being a better person, and being a better person is more sustainable than being the best person. I'm not too sure you understand about this. So one of the things that I always remember, somebody told me this, and I want to share this with you, and you probably want to write this down, is to push yourself to be better is the only way to be the best. Let me repeat that again. Push yourself to be better is the only way to be the best. It's not to push yourself to be the best, yeah? It's push yourself to be better. So the goal is to be better today. Now my question to you is, what are you doing today to be better than yesterday. This is commit to self-mastery. All right. Anything you want to add, Ashley, about this?
Yeah, so let me just share one thing. So I remember when we first doing role play for this Bangsa Hill Park project, right? With that initial presentation deck, right, is really good enough already. I feel like we can close deal with that so powerful presentation deck. But along the journey, every single role play, so the more role play that we do, right, we constantly tweak it and improvise it, even though it's already very good at the very beginning, but we improvise here and there. And then when we improve our slides, we also improve the way we present. So it's not that we are not good, it's really good, but we strive to be better lah. Yeah.
Fantastic. So don't be the best person, be a better person, because better person will help us to stay in the game and be relevant to the market. Okay? Right, cool. Let's move on to the next one. Our struggles are real. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, you are right. It's real.
That I need to improve. Okay. Our struggle are the short-term step that we must take on our way to a long-term success. I remember this, Gary Keller said this. Our struggle are the short-term step that we must take on our way to a long-term success. Now, I believe you and I here today have struggled. I just want to encourage you is that this struggle will help you. It's a short-term step for you to achieve a long-term success. Now, Ashlynn, anything you want to share about this or any experience that you're going through right now with this code?
Okay, so recently, when I first joined this project team, right, I struggled a lot because I feel like, okay, even though the fundamental thing that I'm doing, like lead gen follow-up, is the same thing, but somehow there's still, it's a very different experience. Just like when I call the prospect, right, I actually share with John, I said, hey, the quality of the people, right, for this market segment, right, is very different from the market segment that I used to be in. So every single time when I move on to a different market, right, I actually struggle a little bit. Yeah, and also to push myself to really master the whole presentation, the closing, to be to get myself familiarized with that entire project or the development around that area, right? I actually invested a lot of time. So I remember I really got myself into a very high intensity mode when working in this project, because apart from meeting, we have meeting with each other 4 times a week. So some days we meet twice a week, like morning 2 hours and then afternoon. So there's always a continuous, brainstorming and then role play. So when there are appointment by other team members as well, so I got to sit in and just listen and also observe. And other than the online discussion, so sometimes we take it offline, and offline also, I was also actually spending a lot of time to practice my script. Yeah, so I remember before my role play, right, I actually spent that weekend because, basically half a day to just really practice my presentation. So when it comes to the real appointment with client, right, I remember it was 10 o'clock in the morning. So I actually woke up 6 o'clock early in the...
Okay, I think she played this.
So for me, so looking back, right, that 1 whole month... Really? Hello?
Yep.
Am I back?
Yep.
Yeah, correct. So I always feel like the beginning part is always more painful, but over the time, it just got better. So looking back, right, even though that time I felt that, okay, I was really struggling, but after a month looking back, right, that's the right way to do it lah. Yeah.
Right. So I remember my mentor told me this. He said, everything can be achieved. Just give in time. Now, if you don't want struggle, if you don't want struggle at all, stay at your comfort zone. And let me tell you the danger of comfort zone. The danger of comfort zone will make you lazy because you have everything that you want. Everything that you want, or the person that you want to be, is actually in the uncomfort zone. So if you are not comfortable, is the moment that you are trying to progress and you're trying to grow yourself, you're trying to develop yourself, and you definitely will feel pain. So if any of you are struggling right now in real estate, meaning to say you're still learning, you're trying to grow yourself, you're trying to develop yourself, and that pain is a growing pain, right? That pain is a growing pain. You're trying to stretch yourself, right? So our struggle is our short-term step. So I just want to encourage you with this quote, yeah? Right, let's move on to the next one. Now, I really like this, just now based on the quote, is that people don't decide their future, they decide their habit, and their habit decide their future. All right, this is exactly like what we said earlier. It's not do once in a while that shape our life, is about what we do consistently. For example, your lead gen, your follow-up, your role plays, your presentation, and all. Right, so this is the things that we want to do now. So basically, self-mastery, right, that is not a theory thing. Self-mastery is about mindset, about understanding how successful people are thinking and how top producers are thinking. And oftentimes, the level that we are thinking right now, or the way you're behaving right now, is your ceiling of achievement. That's where you find you're stuck. Now, in order to make yourself unstuck, you need to reset the way you think about real estate business. You need to reset the way you think about the situation that you are in today. So when we are trying to go through this 6 personal perspective, is to really add in a little bit value, give you a little bit good thoughts about your mindset and how you perform at the highest level. So commit to self-mastery is basically to understand all this and to talk to the producer and understand how they're thinking right now. So commit to self-mastery is to put all the pieces together and achieve your self-mastery. So this is the thing, right, guys? So this is the self-mastery sessions, right? Now, why not all of you here share your aha and what did you learn from here? What speak to you and what did you learn from here? Appreciate your comment below and your aha. Anyone? Anyone have any aha that you want to share? Let me see. Right, so our Sifu William say, it's not how good you are, but who you want to be. I love that. Farah say, listen to understand, not to answer. Jin say, amazing tools, fantastic. Now, Chris say, lots of aha, don't know where to start. Oh no. So I think, Chris, you need to go to step 2, focus on the 80-20 principle already. All right, let me continue to read. Calvin say, just do it. Very straightforward. Just need to say to be better version of ourselves every day. It's not about being perfect, but become better. Jasmine, awesome. Eric say, do it consistently. Tina say, bring yourself to account each day towards the goal. Awesome. Good sharing. We must keep going. Too much to learn. Yep. Self-mastery is about to reset your mindset. Awesome. Hon say, our struggle is temporarily. It helps us to grow. Yeah, that is the growing pain. Awesome. Serena say, continuously improve. Push yourself to be better is the only way to be the best. Yes, 100%. Self-alignment on what we want. Fantastic. Reset our thinking and commit to do it consistently. Repeating your action to be better. Sharon, awesome. Learn like Ashlynn. Keep pushing the boundary and keep growing. Awesome, Michelle. Then to understand, to be understood. Awesome. This is the best thing that I learned. Start now, don't wait for tomorrow. Yes, don't procrastinate. All right. If you're having these symptoms right now, please see a doctor. The doctor can be your accountability partner. Yeah. All right. So if you're procrastinating, you lack of motivation, please do something about it. All right. When they say commitment plus consistency equals to progress, 100%. Focus, consistent, know what is important is the one thing. Awesome. build a habit to our business, consistently do it. Yes. Pain in learning bring pleasure later. Yes, I love growing pain. Don't run away from pain, especially growing pain. So every day look back what you have achieved that day and identify how to improve the next day. Yes, consistency and repetition, 1% better every day. I love this, Susan. Right, so I love all your aha, guys. I really hope that these sessions that you are learning today, you're learning about self-mastery. And I just want to go back a little bit. So really identify the area that you want to improve. Really identify the area that you want to improve. Today we are at step 1, that we understand to commit to self-mastery. And I hope that just now the quotes, right, you were able to put that into your mind and your heart and to really go for it. And my biggest aha today is to push yourself to be better is the only way to be the best. Now, please allow me to have one promotion about the Bangsar Hill Park today. Later, 3 p.m., I actually have a workshop is to teach the RAN how to run Bangsar ads on KW Command. By the way, it's not to teach you how to set up your Facebook page and link to your command. It's not about that. That's step 1. You should do it already. So when people come to these sessions, right, I will give them the content, I will give them the artworks, I will give them the description, I will show with them which area that you want to target, and to run the ads and get leads immediately, because that's what we can do now, right? But the good news is that I remember Monday I shared this workshop. In 2 days' time, I have 100 registration, and I just want to say thank you for everyone who registered this. So our registration is actually closed. Now, if you want to continue to learn about this, right, Chris, would you help to post the WhatsApp link and also a work chat link for them to join so that they will be informed when is the next one, right? So today, our workshop already reached 100 people, So if there are more people want to learn about this, you can join the WhatsApp link first and then learn about this Bangsar project and run your ads, get your leads, and set up a Zoom appointment. Chris can post the link to the group so that people can join, right? So Ashlynn just post the link to the group, so you can join the WhatsApp group and also the workplace group. All right, but today the session is already full. We will organize a second one if any of you are, if we have enough number to run. All right, so that's all from us, and I just want to say thank you for coming. I will pass the time to Sing Fei right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan and Ashlynn, for the great sharing and example to show us how to apply this concept of commit to self-mastery in the business and in the context. Right, before we end the session, there's some announcement that we're going to make. First of all is that I think you all had heard of this our friend Joshua Chan, because of some medical health issue that he has sadly lost both of his legs. He's one of a real estate agent in another agency, but because it's the same industry, not only we want to serve our customer, we also want to support each other in this industry. So with that, there's a link that posted for you to contribute to support the family. So if you want to be part of this contribution, feel free to click the link and contribute to support this family. So that's Joshua Chan. And our virtual training will continue. So tomorrow morning, Josh Tan will lead us through the second MIM model, which is called lead generation model. Right? So continue to join us for this virtual training so that you can continue to be refreshed, remind, and reset again what you need to do for your business. And tonight, we have one special session with Uncle James, who is a so-called a king of subletting. Right? So if you want to find out more about how to do it and what it's about, join him tonight at 9 p.m. And our national consumer campaign will continue to keep in touch with our customers. So we have prepared all the touch points that you need so that you can continue to keep in touch with your customer. I think just now we have learned from both Ashlynn and John Kuek is that you need to time block to keep in contact with your customer, because that's one of the way to continue to build relationship with your clients. Right? And not only we are we want to serve our customer. We also want to serve the community. So in the area and during this time of pandemic, schools are closed and many children need to attend classes through the internet. And we also realize there are many families who cannot afford the laptop. So we are partnering with this Marco to aim to collect 100 laptops, used laptop, to distribute to all these students whereby they have a chance to continue to attend classes. So if you do not have an old laptop, you can also give cash donation through the information that we provided here, right? So condition is that the laptop need to be at least less than 10 years and is still working condition, because they need to refurbish and reinstall some software before they can use it. And if you also want to participate in cash donation, feel free to donate through the bank transfer. And as of today, we have collected 31 laptops, and contribution from cash is 9,000 plus. So we continue to hope more of you to support this community service so that more students have a chance to continue to attend classes during this time. Right, so that's all for today. So thank you everyone for joining us. Continue to follow us in all the training that we have. We are bringing in different topics, different aspects of the training that can help you, especially during this MCO 3.0, whereby while we are so-called being locked down in the house, and it is also the best time to prepare for what is the next opportunity that come along. So it's the best time to self-master certain skills, certain aspects of your business that you need to do well. So with that, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next training. Thank you.